Hey guys, welcome back again. We're just going to do a quick chart update on XXII, 22nd century. We did a chart on them yesterday, so I figured let's try to continue doing charts that we've done. Figured people would like to see continuous updates. So today I did a little bit different on this one though. Initially, I went to the weekly chart as opposed to the daily or hourly, because I just got into this stock and I haven't been watching it that long, so I wanted to see what a much longer trend line looked like with different sized candles and bars and everything like that. So what I did is I zoomed out on the weekly chart here all the way back to 2014, and I plotted this big peak that we've had then. And now keep in mind, I have no idea if there's been any splits, dilution, or anything like that. So I'm going off this just being the same share structure. That's what I'm assuming. Now, we go from the peak, and I find a trend, a general trend here. And basically how I found that, it was just doing what we did before, doing a little bit of retracement with each line and seeing where it kind of meets up. And it worked well enough when I was zooming in and out. You could probably find a better one. I'm not saying this is the best trend line from this peak down, but that's just what I went with. So that's where we are. And what we got here that I thought was interesting is when you zoom in here, we're shaving off and we got this kind of stepladder action going on. So, and we've even followed it here with that. Remember we went over the 50-cent dip. So we're kind of following this big trend multiple times. And as you can see here, we're just kind of steady between it, and then that's when we started going up again. Shaved. So you can see how it kind of follows this fib trend. It doesn't tell us too much, but what I do like is that, remember, when we test trend lines, that's when we're signaling change. And we're going to be testing here very soon in this price range. So assuming no dips or crazy bigness, regardless, by early October, we're going to be testing, some pretty nice points. And for these other fans, I'll go ahead and delete this one so it's a little less busy over there for you guys. Now this fan, what I did is I went with just the MACD and stochastic, and that's how I started my drawing for it. So if we go to the vertical tool here and look here, what I did, if you follow my cursor, I went to the cross right here on August 24th. I went to the stochastic slow over fast cross, and I used that point to start my line. And if I remember correctly, yes, I ended on another crossing for it. But so not only is it a peak, but we did have a crossing of the opposite direction over here. And the only thing I really wanted to show with this one is that we stayed in, and now we're above, right? So I just wanted to show that we've pretty much filled all this gap. We've done both of these twice. We were under trend for a long time. We went up, and when stocks go up, they usually like to make sure they have their support and resistances. So they're going to retest some lows. It's going to happen all the time. You can even see it here. Test, went back to retest. So we've done that twice, and then we've done it in this zone also twice. And now we're going back up here. And the reason I think it's interesting is because we're going to obviously, if the cycle continues, we're going to retest this middle range here that I'm circling right now, somewhere around here. How far down we go depends on how much the volume keeps increasing and how much interest keeps increasing and how much people actually support the price, and if PR comes out that is good for the company, which a lot of people are expecting before the end of September, some sort of PR about the BAT deal, I believe. So my general thought is it's going to keep going in this and it's going to retest this eventually. I just don't know how far down yet. But let's talk about this last fan here. I went to another crossing a little bit after it because I wanted it to be, but we can actually move it if we want. We'll just move it actually back to this dip here. I think I did it because it's a little lower here, but we're going to get basically the same thing. So we follow the trend. We have it slicing, going through. And as you can see on this one, we've only tested back in it twice, and we have been solid on this main trend line. It has been sine waving up and down around it. So again, with this one, I'm also seeing that we're going to retest some lows. I just don't know how far. My hope is that we stay pretty high because volume's actually been doing really well. And it seems like sentiment is increasing as well. So we're a little high above here on our current line according to this trend. But on this trend, we are not that high above it. So it's hard to gauge, but I'm going to guess that in the coming couple weeks, we are going to retest the 240, 216 range. Don't quote me on that, actually. I'm going to say more like this, 227, 240 range. It's not a guarantee by any means, because stocks they can go up, they can gap. They don't follow indicators all the time, especially when PRs, momentum, social media sentiment changes. But if we look, the reason why I don't think it's going to test it so soon, maybe a little bit later on, is because all our indicators are very solid. That's still diverging away from the slow, the fast over slow here. This just got another buy signal right here, fast over slow. And if we go to our daily again, like we did in the last video, see it says overbought on the daily, but look, the MACD has a buy signal. So you have all these positive indications, but also negative indications. And that's why it's exciting to watch stocks like this, because they're going up, they're going against what you would normally think, but they're also going with what you would think. So just keep an eye on this one. If you're not in right now, wait a few weeks. But if you're in right now, you might be able to sell on a peak in like a week or so, or maybe a little bit, a little bit longer, maybe 2 weeks or so. That's my hope anyway. My exit, I'm aiming for around 290. Not saying it's going to happen by any means, but that's just what I'm hoping for. I'm kind of trying to do a 1 month trade, maybe sell around the end of September. Yeah, maybe around the 29th or so. That's my goal. But we'll see what happens, guys. And I don't want to drag on too long, so that's just a short video on XXII 22nd century. And hope you guys enjoyed it. And again, the classic man on Stocktwits. If you want to request a chart or anything, just let me know. And I'll most likely have time to look at it, but requests are starting to come in. So have a good night, guys.